Hello, beautiful divine one. Hello, hello. Welcome to Being the New Human group class via the Patreon platform for the month of October. What is the higher dimensional topic for the month of October? It's a big one. It's maybe the biggest topic that a being, and especially a human being, benefits from. Understanding this topic shifts everything. Everything. So what is this topic that we will be discussing for the month of October? The topic is fear. What is fear? Is what we're going to talk about today. What is fear? And we're also going to talk about how we are, through our Creator Sovereign Being, fully equipped to navigate the spaces that come in the vibration of fear. Fear is a vibration. Fear is an energy signature. There are various spaces of fear. Some of the spaces of fear are extremely important and beneficial to the human being and to our existence. Those are a little bit easier to understand and comprehend when we consider that sometimes we may begin to do something or experiencing something and we feel a sensation of fear. And when we feel that fear, we become more present because of it. We pay attention because of it. And we maybe can then implement something that we need to implement in order to not be hurt or navigate that space for our best benefit. Meaning, if you were riding your bike and you were riding along and all of a sudden you notice there's this very large pothole or drop off or something ahead of you and you have no way around it. Your body feels the fear. It's you acknowledging the space in order to make the decision you need to make to navigate that moment. So in that instance, fear is assisting you in being present. Now, the key is awareness and observation. We've talked about those two so many times that without awareness and observation, we can get stuck in the experience itself and any vibration that's in that experience through our perception, because experiences aren't always perceived the same way by all that experience them. Let me repeat that. Experiences are not always perceived, felt, sensed, understood the same way by all who experience that experience. So where one person riding a bike who all of a sudden sees a drop off might go, awesome, and like just get in position to hop it. Another person who sees that drop off, that very same drop off, might all of a sudden fall because they're just so scared. So those are two extremely different perceptions, views of the very same experience. We do this in every aspect of our lives, every aspect. And this is why when we have relationships with others, whether it's family, love, friend, work, and we have experiences that we experience together, many times there can be difficulties in navigating the experience because the two or more are experiencing it, perceiving it differently. And they don't understand that. We all come in thinking everybody sees it our way. Everybody feels it our way. So when we find out they don't, we tend to get thrown off by that a bit and it tends to feel uncomfortable. And then the difference of how much they don't see it our way can up that uncomfortable space, that uncomfortable feeling. And in some spaces can make it really, really difficult to navigate. But fear comes in as a warning mechanism. That is a legitimate way in which fear can be perceived as a warning mechanism for you to be more present and to pay attention, to make an intelligent choice and to navigate accordingly. So for instance, you're in a building and a fire alarm goes off. You might feel an initial, what is that? Right? Okay, that is the energy vibration of fear. Now maybe you just felt an initial zap of that energy. And that would be very different from someone else who goes into a full-blown panic attack and can't move because of the fear from that same exact moment. So really even taking a bit of time in this class today to acknowledge perception, and that all are perceiving according to their own unique consciousness. So every consciousness, every thought process in every being is going to be different, is going to be unique. And keeping that in mind alone, with observation and awareness, can help us navigate these spaces, these experiences, when we don't align with someone else's perception or experience the same way. And why is that important? Another thing to consider is if you're in this class, it is because you are seeking more of you, more of your wholeness, more of your higher alignment. You're seeking to expand your consciousness, your light, your vibration, and be more whole. So that being said, understanding the vast differences in perceptual viewpoints in all human beings allows you to be more present when the viewpoint doesn't match yours. You know, I heard many, many years ago, he's not with us anymore in the physical sense, but he's definitely always with us in the spiritual sense. I heard a quote by a great teacher of mine, probably my spiritual father in a sense, back in 2006 when I began to awaken on my journey. Wayne Dyer said, "Do you want to be right, or do you want to be happy?" Now, some people can say, but being right makes me happy. And that is a personal space of consciousness that that individual could navigate and look at to see if that space is filled with love, or if that space is filled with any type of control or manipulative type of energy. Meaning, having to be right, having to have your opinion be the only way or the right way, is a sign post, a flag of a space in which that consciousness that is feeling that way is not deeply rooted in its wholeness. But it's separated from its wholeness so that in that experience it has so much fear of not being enough, of not being strong, of probably many other spaces of fear as well, that it has to implement its view as the only right view. And we all know that step into observation and hold awareness from our higher senses. We all know that there are many, many ways to look at things and perceive things, and that through love, we allow all to hold their view and for it to be valid for them, as long as it does not go against universal law. Universal law is do unto others as you would want done unto you, brother and sisterly love. So there are many ways that people take that and they kind of twist it up and manipulate it again to be a space in which it aligns with their viewpoint. But in the end, the biggest way to know if it is coming from wholeness and divinity and sovereignty and truth is if it is anchored in love. If there is any judgment or any fear attached to it, then it is not anchored in love. And most of the time, spaces in which that is the case, the being that is holding that consciousness doesn't even realize they're playing out a fear-based old program that separates them out from source, from their God light, from their God space, from their power. And they are depending upon something outside of their inner being, their God connection, to save them. They are depending upon something outside of them to be the answer, when the answer lies within. Now, when does fear become a detriment? When does the density of fear become something that is in no way beneficial to the being? When the fear is in control. When the fear is in control of the being, meaning the being, the human, is making life choices from fear, they are no longer sovereign choices. When fear sits into the being and the being doesn't flow through the experience, but instead grabs onto the experience and gets all up in it, fear becomes embedded within the being. And many humans have fear, the energy signature, because everything is energy. Remember that? Everything is energy. Many humans have the signature of fear vibrating from within their beings because they've been so terrified or fearful of so many different things, places, people, events, experiences, lack, whatever it is, for so long, and possibly multiple lifetimes. So they have embedded that fear vibration into their being. And I will say this, we on earth have programmed our people to live in states of fear. We have programmed them. Our governments and our schools, our music industry, our gaming industry, it's all programmed to steep the human in fear. The news is all about what is wrong and all about the what ifs that are not good what ifs. And the TV shows are all about, cheating and stealing and murder and very dark, dark practices. And they amplify and exemplify sex and drugs and alcohol, all these things that in moderation and in the proper space of a human experience are beautiful, are fine, are a space in which one can have that experience. But it is done in such a way that it becomes a bombardment to where the being is truly feeling and programmed to believe that that is a normal act of their life, and without it they're empty, or without it they're not enough. And there's so much more. There's politics, there's religion. It's in everything. To be afraid of hell, to be afraid of being poor, to be afraid of being a bigot, to be afraid of being sick, to be afraid of not being good enough. There's so many things you are told and taught to be afraid of. So the fact that you are in this class right now is phenomenal, because you have aligned yourself with a space that says, fear no more. Fear no more. Fear is looked at very differently when one becomes aware. When one becomes aware of what fear really is, and when one becomes aware of what one truly is, a piece of source, a part of the whole, experiencing this particular now, you are never separate from the one. Everything you do, the one is with you. And you can know that, you can lean into that, you can speak into that, you can connect into that, you can trust in that. And that is what is being revived on our planet right now. The truth of the connection of the I am within. Acasma Quantum Energy assists with that, and we have many AQE facilitators across the planet now assisting people to reconnect and remember who they are. And that's what it's all about. As humanity rises and our earth shifts and rises, this is what it's all about. Dropping the old programs, and that's what they are. The TV shows, the commercials, the music, they tell you you're sick. They tell you everybody is warring with everybody, and how everybody thinks the other one is not as good as they are, or they're wrong, or they're dangerous, or they're evil. There's a lot of fear to tap into. But there's also a lot of love. There is also a lot of love. There is a lot of light. And that is what we, you and I, are here to share with humanity and the earth, to remind them that the love is here, the light is here. This isn't how we were designed to live, in fear, continual fear, habitual fear. The minute you get through one space, they tell you now, even before you get through it, that there'll be another. There'll be another thing to be afraid of. There'll be another thing that you'll have to be angry with someone at for not doing what you are doing. Because as long as they can keep you divided and keep you fearful and keep you busily looking at very, very silly things that deter you from seeing the true picture, as long as they can do that to society, they can control society. But the problem is they've lost that grip. They have lost that grip. The darker spaces of God have lost their grip upon humanity and earth, and the higher spaces of God have anchored in and shown up. There's the question of, can you be fearless? Yes, you can be fearless in the way in which one steps out and trusts themselves completely and trusts their connection to the one, the I am, universe, their light teams, and leans in, knowing they're protected, intending they're protected, intending they're loved and aligned with their highest good. That is fearless, because it is in the face of the fact that the other is in existence, but the individual in question is sovereignly choosing their own alignment. Their own alignment. You have the right to choose your alignment, fear or love. Fear enforces, manipulates, controls, gives an ultimatum. And love is patient, love is kind. Love believes all things. Love hopes all things. Love never fails. Never. So allow yourself to take a moment and look at you. Look at your perceptions. Look at your experiences. Look at your day-to-day and see if in those spaces there's any fear that is asking you to see it, so that you can choose to consciously heal and release it. Alchemize it with love. Move into a higher space of you that is in alignment with peace in your being, an open mind, a loving heart, and a pure intent. Unending blessings upon you. Thank you for your support, and thank you for being in this now.